Capstone updates. And this week's task was to buy a guitar. And as at the end of the last video I had pointed, or stated rather, I was going to buy a guitar, and my plan was to buy a new guitar off of like a music store's website, and have it shipped to me or whatever. The night that I was going to buy that guitar, because it's like $800, it's like, oh man, this is a lot of money that I don't know if I want to spend. So I went and looked at like a market website like eBay for my area. And I found myself a guitar, which I have sitting in front of me, and I'll flip the camera around in a moment, for like $300. So I bought that instead, and saved a ton of money. And so I'll go in detail on some of the things about it, some of the things I like, some of the things I don't like. And then I'll probably plug it into an amp, and we'll give it a bit of a spin, I think. So. Okay, and so here the thing is, it came with this hard case. It was a great deal. And here is the guitar. It's placed between the 60s and the 70s. It's a Harmony. I don't remember the exact model. I'll look it up in a moment so I can provide that detail. But yeah, here it is. And so on to my analysis. When I picked it up, the guy who was selling it told me that all the electronics had been cleaned. And for the most part, I think that is true. However, the input jack here is a bit loose. So when I go to reconstruct everything, that's something I'm going to have to consider and either tighten or replace. These volume and tone knobs are switched for some reason. This right here should be volume and that should be tone. But that's not a hard fix, and it's got not like a 3-way or a 5-way pickup selector. It's got these little on-off switches. And so currently we have the neck pickup in the on position. Now both of them are on, just the bridge, and none of them are on. Then we've got these nice single coil pickups. They actually produce a better sound than I thought they would. I may replace them at some point, though. I'm not quite sure. It's a 22 fret neck, which is nice. I don't think I own anything with 22 frets, or I didn't until I bought this. Although it is like a much shorter scale length, so it's not what I'm used to playing, and it takes a bit of a learning curve to get used to. But it could be worse. And then there's a truss rod that sticks out here. So maybe I'll try and hide that in the body if I can, although I'm not sure that I'll be able to. Coming up, it's got these sort of regular modern style tuners, which is nice. It's just a regular 6-string. It's got an interesting bridge. You don't adjust each individual string. They all sort of come as a one and done, with these 2 big adjustment screws. Then if we flip it over, the strings don't run straight through the body, and it is a bolt-on neck, which means I can actually keep the body intact, and in the future, if I ever wanted to, I could restore this and buy new parts for the body that I plan on making. So yeah, that's the guitar. It was a pretty good deal. It works fairly well. It sounds interesting. Now let's plug it in, I guess. Okay, so here is the guitar all plugged in and whatnot. You can see if you rattle the cord in the jack here, it won't buzz anymore. Although, in some of my testing here today, there may actually be something wrong, because I've noticed as I try to pull the cable out, there's significant resistance. There we go. There's some of that rattling I was talking about. It might just be this cable, because, as you can see, it's a little bit bent, which is an issue. But anyway, here is the bridge position with a clean tone coming out of a Marshall MGX 30. And here is the clean neck position. And here both positions clean tone at the same time. So those were the clean tones. Now I will switch over the amp into a crunch tone. Okay, and here we go now with the crunch tones. And that's on the neck position. And now onto the bridge position, or the neck position. That was the bridge. And here are both positions at the same time. So it's a fairly well-rounded instrument. It has a decent amount going for it. I think it sounds pretty good. Yeah. I will actually point out here, we can see these pickups, they run really high up, and sometimes that gets in the way of playing. So I might try and do something about that in the final build, but I'm not too sure. If I can, that is. I think that's all. So the major points are I bought a guitar, and yeah, that's all.